Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Get Unstuck series. I hope you're having a fab Wednesday. We've just had an absolute torrential downpour here, so I'm hoping it's going to stop so I can take the dog out for a walk. So I hope it's clear where you are. It's lovely to see you here. If you are here and you're joining me, do say hello, whether that's in the Facebook group, the Love What You Do Lounge, or on LinkedIn. If you are with me, let me know, give me a little wave, a little hello. It's always great to know people are here live. But if you're not here live and you're watching on replay, hello too. So I'm Sarah Archer. I am a career and leadership coach, and I have this series, the Get Unstuck series, to give you bite-sized pieces of information, tools, techniques, on lots of different topics, just to get you thinking differently about your career and to be able to kind of create the career success that you want for you. And I'm passionate about helping people to become more active in their careers. So becoming a career activist. And that's perfect for this topic because it's all about how to be more intentional in your career, which is what we're going to talk about today. So if you've got any questions on the topic, again, just pop them into the chat, tag me in, and I will come back and answer them for you, whether you're here live or watching on replay. So let's dive into the topic then. So I've been working as a career coach now for around 15 years. So I've seen lots and lots of people around their kind of career dilemmas, their career challenges. And I guess what sort of has struck me is that so many people, and I was guilty of this in my career as well, are kind of unconscious about their careers. So they're not kind of really shaping their careers and driving them in the way they want to. They're maybe more at the whim of the organization or the sector or people in their lives. They're maybe kind of fallen into it. Maybe they've had a knee-jerk reaction in terms of making a career decision. Maybe they're kind of moving away from something they don't like or escaping from something. And so it becomes very, unconscious, essentially. And what we really want to have, and we can have this at any stage in our career development, is that intentionality. So really being clear about what you want from your career and where you're taking it, because when you have that intentionality, you're feeling really purposeful in your career. You're very clear about your drivers and your motivators, and so you can make the right choices for you. Because you've got that clarity about what makes you tick and what you need. Often you'll have a vision for your career as well in terms of the elements that will make it light you up, make you feel great, and it'll allow you to be authentic as well. So you'll feel aligned with your career because you're being intentional about it. So you can bring your true self to work. You don't have to fit in or mold yourself or shape yourself in a different way because you feel that's how you have to be at work. You can be the person you are at home and in your outside work life, in work as well. And also you're self-leading because you're in charge of your career. You're taking it in the direction you want to take it in. So you're developing a leadership mindset by leading your own career. And it means you're also committed to yourself. You're committed to your development and your direction, and all those things kind of coming together and taking you on the right route. And you'll have a career strategy. So you'll also be thinking about your visibility and your positioning of your career. And it might feel like that's a lot of work, but actually it's not, because it's so aligned with you. Once you've done the initial work, it really enables you to do those things much more easily. And if you're not intentional, so the opposite of being intentional is kind of being stuck in this unconscious phase where often because you're not sure of yourself, you maybe feel like you have to prove yourself more, you have to push yourself to deliver, because you're not feeling kind of secure about where you're going and what you're trying to achieve in your career. Often you might feel unfulfilled, you might feel unrecognized for your contribution. You can't answer the question, what next in your career, and often you kind of can feel really overwhelmed with trying to perform, trying to do things in the right way, and that can lead to burnout as well. So there's lots of kind of downsides to being in that kind of unconscious phase, but it's very easy to to be in that phase or get stuck in that unconscious phase. And I've got a great example. So I was round at my neighbour's for dinner over the weekend, and my neighbour was talking to me. She's very successful in her career, but she's been doing it for quite a long time, and she feels like she wants to have some sort of change, but she can't answer that what next question. And obviously, because I'm a career coach, we were chatting about it. And she was like, well, I just need to update my CV and just look for things I can apply for. And I'm like, well, actually, you need to maybe just do a bit of thinking about what you really want first. What are the things you want to be doing over the sort of next phase of your career, the next 10, 15, 20 years of your career? What's on your career bucket list? What lights you up? Not just thinking about a job title, because that's obviously the next thing feels logical. I'll just think about a job I could do, but actually thinking about the things that you want to be able to do, whether that's speaking more or writing more or working on policy or being more creative or achieving certain things, and then thinking about what might be a good match for that, but really kind of deciding how you want to shape your career first before you're kind of looking for that next role. So how do we get to intentionality? Because that's the kind of key thing. And like I said before, it doesn't have to be somewhere in the future I'm going to be intentional about my career. It's about doing it at any stage in your career. So even now, if you feel like you're stuck in unconscious phase, you can turn that around into being more intentional in your career. And I've got 3 things to share with you about becoming more intentional. So the first one is to increase your self-awareness, because being self-aware, really understanding yourself, knowing what makes you tick, is the key to good career decision making. So thinking about understanding your why. Why do you do what you do? Why is it important to you? What's that connection you have with that kind of why? And I love the Simon Sinek talk, and I'll put a link in the comments to this later, where he talks about using your why and understanding your why, and why it feels hard to do that is because our why tends to sit in the limbic center of the brain, which doesn't have language, so it's much more emotion driven. So we kind of often have a sense of our why, or we can feel our why, but it's hard to articulate it. So we have to kind of really do that process of uncovering, what's important to us, so that we can articulate our why. And that's things about, your values, thinking about what you love, what you don't like, what you want more of, will help you to shape that why and really become more intentional about enabling that why to be present in your career. Because if you made a list now about the things you love about what you do and things you don't like what you do, and you came up with a very short list of what you love, or you recognize you don't get the opportunity to do what you love very much in your current role, that's powerful information about how you want to shape your career in the future, and therefore how you could be more intentional about bringing into your career the things that nourish you and sustain you at work, because it gives you that information that you need to do something different, and that's all part of that intentionality. The second thing to do is then to develop your career success criteria. And I talk a lot with my clients about developing career success criteria, because, this is about not just having vertical career success in terms of moving upwards. It's about thinking broadly about what are the success elements for you that, if you have them as part of your career, will allow you to feel, yeah, I've created something really amazing for myself here. So it might be more around, bringing more creative work in, or more opportunities to be flexible, or having more challenge, or, being able to work from Bali or Singapore or whatever it might be. And often it's linked to your values, your career success criteria. So just getting that clarity about, for me, if I create these things in my career, I will feel that I am successful, not just benchmarking yourself against the extrinsic success markers like job title, salary, benefits, etc. So to give you an example, so my career success criteria, and success criteria is different for everybody, is to work with motivated clients that have a career story. So I don't work with people early in their careers, that enable me to release my value around making a difference. So feeling that I can really help them to achieve what they want in their careers. Secondly, to have financial freedom, but to be a planet-friendly consumer. So to have the kind of financial security that I want, but not to overconsume. To then also have challenge. So I want to be pushed. I want to have to get out of my comfort zone, say yes to doing things that are a bit scary. But that makes me feel alive. It gives me that spark. So I want that as part of my career success, and also the opportunity to learn. So I've done a master's in career coaching. I'm about to do a year's course in NLP coaches, techniques for coaches, and I do other training as well. So that's another real element for me, is having the space and the financial freedom to build in this kind of learning opportunities for myself, and also to have the flexibility to blend my life without the restrictions of a 9 to 5. So they're mine, but it might be very different for you. You might want to have more creativity or whatever it could be, but really understanding your career success criteria enables you to then be intentional about creating that kind of career for yourself. So with those two things, that self-awareness piece and your success criteria, it helps you then to get clear about the question, what is next for me? Because you can start to think about, okay, what do I want next in my career then? And that might be about getting a promotion. So it might be, say, becoming a director of communications. That might be one of the things. But it might also be something like, well, actually, I want to work on this kind of project because it's going to give me the specific challenge that I want in my working life. Or it might be, I want to work for this kind of organization because, for example, working for a sustainability organization is really important, and I want to have done that within my career span. Or it might be, actually, I want to work 4 days a week because I want to start a side hustle, or I want to have more opportunity to engage in a particular interest or hobby, or do some volunteering, or whatever it could be. So it's kind of very easy then to think about, what does that what next thing look like for me? And obviously, then, you can, when you've gathered that information, you've got that clarity, you can then make a plan. So you've got that self-awareness, you've got your success criteria, you've got your what next. You can then start planning out, how do I do this? And you can go big picture with your plan. It doesn't have to be very detailed, but it can be. You can go really granular on your plan. It depends what works for you. But it helps you maintain your intentionality by having a plan. It helps you to kind of keep that intentionality front and center for yourself. So you're actively shaping your career and creating what you want. So I would love to know whether you feel like you're kind of stuck in an unconscious phase of your career and you want to get to intentionality, or whether you feel, actually, I'm really being intentional about my career now. I would love to hear from you. So do let me know, pop it in the comments. Let me know where you are with your sort of creating intentionality for yourself. And obviously get in touch if you feel, actually, I need some help with this. I need some help to be more intentional about my career and create that sense of shaping and action and planning in my career. So thank you for joining me if you've been here with me live, and I'd love to see you next week, next Wednesday, 12:15, for the next live session in the Get Unstuck series. Have a great rest of the week.